science now shows with so wide and convincing evidence that we've reached a completely new juncture for humanity.
We're losing trees deforestation, we're losing, biodiversity at a rate of 200 species a day. We're losing, our ability to really live on this planet.
We're the problems. Companies are causing the ecological damage, and so we need to lead and find solutions.
The beauty is it can be matched with an equal amount of evidence that a deep, deep transition into a global sustainable future is both possible and also desirable.
The reason that it makes sense to, spend all your time and energy traveling all the way to something like this, which is obviously, sort of the opposite of what we want to be doing, and to a certain extent, is incredibly important and powerful, is because this is not just another talk fest. This is really a place where people are planning to collaborate and put into action the changes that we need to implement, not just to model, but to actually live.
What do we need to change is basically the corporation, because its purpose is profit. It has lost its deep connection to society. And to change it, and it's not an easy change, we need to look at what's driving problems at the macro level and identify the few things that need to change at the micro levels. We need to figure out ways in which to make today's corporation create tomorrow's economy. Tomorrow's economy is a green economy, but nobody actually works enough on how do we get there.
When business talks about sustainability, it usually just focuses on its own operation. But in reality, the footprint is elsewhere. So you can drive the cleanest cars, you can put solar panels in your stores on top of your offices and become the most sustainable company. But the reality is you only impact a very small percentage of your overall footprint. In fact, the biggest footprint you create when you make the decision what raw material to use.
This is the time that we can affect an emerging 800 million middle-class consumers who don't have to worry just about the price of rice or a tub of oil, but they're worrying about buying a refrigerator and TV and the color of their sneakers. We have to capture this moment to affect their habits before their habits are set. The China dream is really about how do we reimagine prosperity, but embed sustainability into these social norms.
One of the things we've always been very keen on demonstrating is that the more sustainable option is quite often the more cheaper option, the more profitable option.
We're reusing all our wastewater and reducing our dependency on other water resources for the irrigation of our vegetable and herb garden.
If you look at the 2011 Symposium, the whole World Water Campaign was founded. The idea behind that is to not use and sell branded waters in the hotels, but bottle on site, and then give 10% of water revenues to water charities. So apart from the obvious ecological benefits in terms of the absence of food miles and waste, it also creates an efficiency for the organization, and of course it's financially better off.
It should have been called Planet Ocean. 72% of our planet is covered by water. 97% of the water on our planet is in our ocean. We are paralyzed by research. We're drowning in reports, and we're not doing anything. So we need to actually flip it. It shouldn't be R&D, it should be D&R. Do, and then figure out how to convey it through research.
The world's seafood industry is controlled by no more than 10 big industries. And what if one would invite the CEOs of these 10 to a Soneva model type trust-based dialogue? Be sure that they bring their kids and simply have a discussion on how can you ensure a global sustainable seafood industry in the world, where also your children one day could be CEOs in your companies and run a sustainable business.
I can see at least 3 or 4 ideas which now have got real merit, which I think people will work on and take forward over the course of the next 6 months, next year. Not surprising, there's been quite a focus on travel and tourism. It's a massive global industry. it's still lagging best practice in other industries. This is extraordinary. There's been a big emphasis on fishing and how to work with the biggest fishing companies in the world, and how do you enable them to recognize that the ocean is running out of fish, and that means their businesses are basically heading towards bankruptcy. And then a lot of emphasis on communications. How do we get better at telling these amazing stories of how the world, not only do we have to do sustainability, it would be a much better world if we did it. That's what we've got to get better at.